BET All-Star, not All-Star, BET Awards in Los Angeles, California. Known agitator Jake Lang goes downtown LA with very racist posters, right? And signs that say black culture is disgusting. Jake Lang has the right to protest. He really has the right to say whatever he wants based on free speech laws, as long as he's not physically harming anyone. All of a sudden, the same black people who were like, Carmelo was scared for his life, though he wasn't, he was barely nudged, he was barely pushed. The same black people who were saying Carmelo Anthony had every right to impale Austin Metcalf through the heart for simply pushing him were downtown Los Angeles attacking Jake Lang. And if Jake Lang would have took one of their life, those same black people would have been saying he was a racist. They would have been saying it was not necessary. They would be saying he overreacted, right? The same people who said that Carmelo Anthony had every right to be under the tent of Austin Metcalf and his high school team, right? The same black people who said Carmelo, if Austin Metcalf and them boys didn't like what Carmelo Anthony was doing, they should have went and got somebody who was in charge, right? The same exact black people who said that Carmelo Anthony had every right to sit under that tent. He wasn't bothering nobody. The same black people who said Austin Metcalf, his brother and his friends should have minded their own business are now downtown Los Angeles attacking a man because he happens to have a certain opinion about black culture. I'm Brandon Tucker. This is Defiant Brandon. Welcome back to accountability. Welcome back to where accuracy meets accountability. Welcome back to a channel where you have a black man who doesn't have a 2-second memory. A black man who doesn't have a selective memory where I can, like most African Americans, where, you know, most African Americans could totally just blank out a certain part of their memory so that they can engage in the present hypocrisy. And that just doesn't ride over here. Oh, I'm a this, I'm a that. He's a raccoon, he's this and that. Nah, man, I'm just someone who could look at a situation and see the hypocrisy and call it out. You have the same African Americans who just were screaming that a group of white people in Frisco, Texas were racist for asking a young black man to leave their tent. They say one of the white boys is a racist and a bigot for pushing Carmelo Anthony. And they also say that because of that push, Carmelo Anthony was totally justified in impaling this boy through his heart and killing him with a knife that he illegally brought into a school event. These same black people, the same ones, were just downtown Los Angeles yesterday physically assaulting a white man for standing on the sidewalk in LA. He has a right to do that. Expressing his opinion, which he also has a right to, about black culture. Expressing an opinion that many black people would actually agree with at an event that celebrates the unparalleled ignorance of black culture. Jake Lang had every right to do what he did. Now, do I like what he did? Would I say, oh yeah, Jake, that was... No, I'm not going to say that. But just like I got the right to stand on the corner and call every white person who walked past me a no good cracker, Jake Lang has the right to stand out and say that he out on public and say, I am disgusted with black culture. He has every right. So now the same black folks hollering, Austin Metcalf should have minded his own business. They went out and assaulted somebody, physically assaulted this man, when they should have minded their own business. But you see, when you operate on a fundamental plane of hypocrisy, when you operate on a plane of hypocrisy fundamentally, you will never see how you are actually engaging in the same type of behavior that you were just condemning somebody else for exhibiting. But I see it, and I'm gonna tell you about it, and you're gonna be mad, and I'm not gonna care. Let's tap into this.
Yeah, people are talking about the BET Awards.
Okay, so listen. Austin Metcalf didn't even do that much to Carmelo Anthony. You hear these dudes screaming, knock him out, knock him out. They're urging this dude to assault Jake Lang. Now Jake Lang is there with signs. Okay, cool. Right? This fool right here old enough to know better. This hyper emotional beta male man child. This dude is old enough to know better than to do what he's doing. Look, that's someone else's property you're touching. I don't remember Austin Metcalf touching Carmelo Anthony's property. I don't remember Austin Metcalf destroying Carmelo Anthony's property. I don't remember that. Maybe there's a part of the video. A lot of y'all saw stuff in the video that nobody ever saw. So maybe y'all saw that too, but I don't remember seeing that. What is the difference between what Austin Metcalf did and what this black man is doing to this white man right now? Right there. They're screaming, knock him out, knock him out, knock him out. So I want to ask all the hypocritical black people who watch, who they probably don't watch this channel. Would Jake Lang have been warranted? Would it have been justified if bro would have pulled out a gun and blew this dude away and said, I was in fear for my life? Jack Lang is surrounded by dozens of hostile people who are hostile towards him. There are people in the background saying, knock him out, knock him out. This guy is significantly bigger than Jack Lang. He's taller than him. Jack Lang is running away, right? Which is what Carmelo would have done if he was actually scared. And they are pursuing Jack Lang into the street. And I want y'all to know something else. When he was on the side of that car, because I got another angle, that dude actually grabbed Jack Lang, like reached his arms around bro and grabbed bro. Why isn't this black man dead in the middle of the street? According to the law of the black folks, he should be dead right now. Let's be real. According to the rules that black people are telling you they want to play by, that black man should be slaughtered in the middle of the street by Jack Lang, and it should be totally justifiable and no black person can say nothing about it. If we apply the Metcalf rules to Jack Lang, black people would have to sit quietly as that white man slaughtered that black man in the middle of the street, and they wouldn't be able to say nothing about it. All they could say is, and white people should be on the internet clapping and cheering, putting $1 million behind bro for his legal defense, saying, yeah, he should have kept his hands to himself. Yeah, he should have minded his own business. Boy, I'm telling you, when you operate on a hypocritical plane or on a level of hypocrisy, you are quickly made a fool out of. Look, they got bro on the ground.
Yeah, people are talking about the BET Awards.
They got bro on the ground. So does that mean bro should have pulled out the blick on him and just smoked everybody? I'm gonna get another video because I can't stand the sound of Tariq Nasheed's voice. Yeah, people talking about we know that. We know that. That is a retard person who has a channel for retarded people. But I want y'all to understand where I'm coming from here. Black folks say a lot of stuff, and then 5 minutes later, they're doing the very thing that they condemned others for doing. Not minding their business, out here putting their hands on folks, right? Am I wrong? Out here putting their hands on folks. But everybody else has to just accept it when we do it to them, right? When we do it to them, you just got to accept it. But if they do it to us, we get to kill. Boy, it's really starting to feel like the N-word. We could say it to each other all day and say it like it's nothing. Soon as someone else says it, it's a problem. Now we want to assault and attack somebody. I'm just saying. It's just something that I'm noticing. And let me tell you something about hypocrisy. It's only tolerated for so long. People will not continue to tolerate blatant hypocrisy. People will eventually say, hey, this isn't fair. Why do we have to operate on a different set of rules than you? Why do you get to attack us and we just got to take it on the chin? But if we approach you, all of a sudden you feel like you have the license to kill. 100% BS. Let me see if I can get this on Fox News. Oh, this is old. Hold on, I'm getting another video. I think this would be cool. They're physically attacking this dude, and bro has security. And they're look, basically the narrative is bro barely escaped. Hold on, I need to get some sound on this. Hold on.
The BET Awards out in LA when he was swarmed by a group of protesters while he was protesting. And I gotta keep it a buck, man. I do not believe Jake's antagonistic behavior will work out for him in the end. Just check out this clip right here.
And look who's right there in the front. An older black man, looked like he about 50 years old, out in the street acting like a little kid. You're hurting my feelings. I don't like to see the signs that you're showing. So now I'm going to attack you. According to the law of the Banderlog, which is my pet name for black people, this black man deserved to be slaughtered in the street by this white man. And all we could say is, yo, he should have minded his own business. That's according. Look. Did you see that? Did you see the assault? Wait,
okay,
I'm going
so
back.
super conservative Jake Lang had a close call at the BET Awards out in LA when he was swarmed by a group of protesters while he was protesting. And I gotta keep it a...
Now, watch this black dude give Jack Lang a right cross across his face. This is okay. Black people say this is justified. You know why? Because it's us doing it to you. But if you do it to us, we should be able to kill you. Watch this. It's coming right here. Hold on. Let me give y'all some sound. Watch this. Now, do you see that? I'm a freeze frame that. Now, do y'all see that? Go find me a video and show me Austin Metcalf doing that to Carmelo Anthony. Find me a video where Austin Metcalf did a quarter of this. Wait, find me a video where a group of white kids in Frisco, Texas even did anything remotely similar to this to Carmelo Anthony. Shut up, Danny Morgan. This dude is being assaulted. And the black people are in the comments like, he got what he deserved. Yeah, he shouldn't have been out there doing it. But cannot understand. They don't want Jake Lang doing that in a public place. But can't understand why Austin Metcalf was like, Carmelo, you need to move out of our tent. They saying Austin Metcalf pushing bro, he deserved to die. Right? But if this white dude killed this black man for striking him across the face and attacking him, they would say he's a racist and a bigot. Carmelo Anthony got to fear for his life it wasn't even a life-threatening situation. But the white man has to exercise extreme self-control and overcome his fear so that you don't get to label him racist. And then black folks, oh, they oppressing us. No, they're just beating you. They're beating you at the game of life. Because they're able to stand in a situation where they might be scared, but they have control over their emotions. And they're telling you, if we can do it, if we can stand in the face of this and manage not to kill nobody, Carmelo could have took that little verbal jab, those verbal jabs from those kids in Frisco, Texas, without killing nobody. And that's why he will spend 35 years of his life in prison. And he's saying it, you're very violent people. You're proving his point. Look. This is right in LA off of Figueroa. Look at the... Did y'all see the black lady assault him? Did y'all see the black lady just push him in the face? Bam. That's assault. That's assault. I'm telling you, black people operate on a rules for thee, but not for me plane of reality. And the more I point out, guys, we're being incredibly hypocritical in this situation. Oh, you a raccoon, you a traitor, you a this and you're that. No, I'm not. I just know if you're able to be pulled out of your character, which for many of you, this is your character. If someone can bait you this easily, imagine if Jack Lang had a crowd of white supremacists around the corner with guns. And he said, y'all, I'm going to lure them over here. I'm going to run around the corner and they going to come over here tripping. And y'all just light their ass up and take them all out. And we'll get a self-defense. We'll get off on self-defense. You cannot walk around in America out of control and then say somebody is racist because they fear you or because they don't want to be around you or because they just stay out of common spaces with you. Yes, what he's saying is offensive. Yeah. But I've heard black women get on the internet and say all male black children should be aborted. Did all black men jump up and start attacking them? No, we controlled ourselves. Every adult has a responsibility to control themselves. Now, if I was Jake Lang, one of these fools would have met their maker that day. Because don't come up to me putting your hands on me. Don't assaulting me and attacking me like that. And it's a crowd of y'all. Yeah, I would have had to drop somebody. And look at the police. Look at the Latino police officers in LA sitting there in the background, just letting these people attack this dude. Because this serves them. Yeah, let's keep these people crazy, reactionary. Because when it's all said and done, they're going to use that same reactionary nature to exterminate your ass. Yeah, they had us surrounded. They had us attacking. They were attacking us, so we had to take them out. You have a freedom of speech in this country and a right to protest. And it is their job as defenders of the Constitution to protect your rights. They're standing there watching this dude be assaulted because they don't agree with his message. But I'm going to be real with you. When it comes to Latino cops in Los Angeles, they probably feel the same exact way as Jack Lang feel. I've heard them talk. Oh, yeah, the blacks are animals. I've heard them. I've heard them talk. They'll go in on you. They'll tell you if you black. Oh, you guys are a bunch of animals. You don't care about anything. You just want to kill people and da-da-da. They probably feel the same way as Jack Lang. But they'll sit by and let that happen because the administration of Los Angeles knew he was going to come there. And they said, we want something like this to happen because it helps them politically.
Yeah, man, like I said, your boy Jake is playing a dangerous game. And once again, he had a close call where things could have ended up a lot worse. But y'all tell me what y'all think about it, man. Okay, so
But if you think, if you listen, right? If you listen to this dude, even doing the commentary, oh, it could have been worse. Da-da-da-da. See, and this is where I'm telling you, guys, if you wonder why black people are so reactionary and violent, even the people who you could maybe call stewards of the culture, the ones who kind of direct the culture and kind of say, hey, this is cool and that's not cool. Those people tell black people this is okay. No condemnation. No like, hey guys, this is hella hypocritical. I want to keep it right here where the guy punches him across the face. No one's saying the real. Black folks always talk about keeping it real. No one's keeping it real. You cannot say Carmelo Anthony, you can't say Austin Metcalf was wrong for what he did to Carmelo Anthony and that he deserved to die for that, and then sit out here and watch black folks do this to Jake Lang. And if he would have did the same thing Carmelo did, you would have been screaming that he was a racist. This is called being a hypocrite. This is called rules for thee, but not for me. And like my granny always used to say, it's going to tell on you before you tell on it. You don't make the rules. Mostly you just break the rules and try to find ways to escape being held accountable for the rules. But if you don't see this, you're just a hypocrite and there's really no saving you. I watched this in disbelief. I said, I know the black folks who was just talking about mind your own business, go tell somebody who's in charge. If black people had a problem with what Jake Lang was doing, based on what they said Austin Metcalf should have done, they should have went and told one of those police officers. They should have went and told those cops, hey, this dude, and the cops would have told him he has a right to do that. Then they should have said, okay, that's cool. I can take my eyes away from this situation since I don't want to see what he's doing. There was no one stopping them from just leaving. There was no one stopping them from just leaving. But they wanted to do violence. They wanted to harm this dude. They wanted to harm this dude because he is doing something they don't like. But imagine, why don't they do that to the black men in the black community murdering people? Or the black women up in the abortion clinic eradicating black fetuses like it's no big deal? Why don't we have this same animus? Why is it only if it's a certain person that the media has told us no longer has rights? Why is it we don't have this same level of anger about it? This is what they mean when they talk about social media programming. Because black folks have been programmed to believe that if someone is saying something they don't like, a person of a certain name, like Jack Lang, they have the right to go attack that person. The rules don't matter anymore when it comes to dealing with this person. And it's a totally self-destructive mindset. And it tells you, it doesn't just tell you, it shows you exactly why the black community is in the shape it's in. One person can do it and it's fine. Carmelo Anthony if he's pushed, he can kill. But Jake Lane can't do that. Austin Metcalf needs to mind his business and go tell somebody in charge, right? But those black folks attacking Jake Lang, they get to take the law into their own hands. As a matter of fact, they get to violate this dude's civil rights. They get to violate this dude's civil rights just because they don't like how he's exercising them. But how many white people did you see band together and start attacking blacks during the summer of love over George Floyd? White people sat back and said, you know what? It's their right to protest. Then when y'all start burning down the cities, the white folks said, well, we just going to call the authorities. They breaking the law now. They didn't when they formed the Proud Boys, y'all got mad. How dare the Proud Boys come and stop us from burning down our own neighborhoods? How dare the Proud Boys stop us from burning down the pharmacy where our granny get her medication? I'm being real with you. We were angry when somebody even just came to protect their own business from our anger. Right? But you didn't see white folks coming out like that, jumping on black folks. Because, listen, if there was a war between white and black in America, we would get whooped out. It's 250 million of them, 44 million of us, and most of those people owe some on drugs, some crackheads, some winos, and a lot of them are children and women. Why do you keep acting like you won't smoke? Why do you keep acting like you won't smoke when you don't want nothing more than for a white person to accept you so you can run up in his daughter? This is real. You don't like it, but it's the truth. You stand no chance if white folks or Hispanics got angry and acted the way you act when somebody does something you don't like. Why even play that game? I'm being real. No, this ain't no cooning live. This is common sense live. This is look, let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something about black folks. A black man will have this conversation with his son and his daughter to save their life. And then come out on public forum and say a totally contradictory message because he doesn't have to deal with the consequences of someone making an ignorant decision. See, me, I'm not going to tell y'all nothing that I wouldn't tell my kids. I wouldn't tell you nothing that I wouldn't tell my kids. But that's why it's good to focus on the youth, because a lot of the youth got more common sense than grown folks. That grown ass man, 50 years old, hold on, my daughter just walked in from volleyball practice. I'm going to ask her about this right here. She don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. Let's see if she thinks it's okay to assault somebody because they just. Do you think if someone's standing on the corner and they have a sign, if someone's standing on the corner and they have a sign that says, I hate black people, do you have a right to go up and assault them?
No.
No?
No.
Why not?
I mean, me personally, I've always learned, like, if someone hits you, hit them back. But that's not. If someone's just holding up a sign that says something like that, that's not really a reason to hit them.
Okay, so she said, I was always taught if someone hits you, hit them back. But if someone's just holding up a sign or something that offends you, that's not a reason to go hit somebody. Common sense. Do you think black folks don't know that? Do you think that the black community doesn't know that? But these people are going beyond what they know. They're going against what they know because they feel like there won't be any consequences for what they're doing. You got this dude look 50 years old out here beating up people. This is somebody's granddaddy. But are you guys surprised that you have kids coming out like Carmelo Anthony? When you have adults that's raising them who act like this? I'm going to tell you the truth. Carmelo never had a chance. Not only did his parents fail him, but our community continues to fail our children because we display behavior that we know is not okay. Look at all these young Latinos. They mad too. You don't see them attacking him. Actually, what's crazy is it was a Latino man who jumped in front of him to kind of shield him from the black dudes that was trying to attack him. I want to go back. I want to stop this. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. No one else is touching this guy. The white people out there, we're just taking pictures. We're documenting. The young black men who you might expect to do some shit like that, they're behind. Look who's in the background learning. Look who's in the background leering, like the Leering Center. Look at who's in the back of him. This is what I want you guys to pay attention to. Look who's learning from what this old idiot is doing. And I'm in LA too, so maybe he'll see this. And if you see this, and I'm down in LA at Lamert getting a coffee or whatever, I just want you to know, you ain't shit. You ain't nothing but an old coward teaching these who should be setting an example for these young boys, but you can't even control your emotions long enough to be a good example. The only thing he should be telling these young boys is, hey, y'all, let's get out of here. Don't even get this what he want. We out of here. Nah, guys, don't blame the kids. Because God gave kids parents. God gave kids parents to educate them so they won't do shit like this. But when you got old buffoons like this, I know somebody who know this dude. I promise you, I know somebody who knows this dude. That's how small, very few degrees of separation in LA. What are you doing, black man? What are you doing? And if this was all he did, that would be bad. But bro went way above this. He went as far as assaulting this dude. I wish Jake Lang would have pressed charges on this fool. Look what he doing. Look what he doing. And right here, he jumps on him. It's another angle. He jump on bro. Grab him and all that. Snatch him up. Look. Now, in that moment, if Jake Lang would have pulled out a firearm and he had a CCW and killed him, would he have been justified? Nah, they would have said, nah. Even though this dude is actively attacking him. And even if you're going to say, he just wanted to get his sign. Nah. He was assaulting him.
Yeah, people are talking about.
Oh, and let me tell you, Tariq, he purposely stopped it right at the part where the dude punched his bro across the face. He purposely stopped it right at the part where this guy punches Jake Lang across the face. But this is what you have. Black people are living in we're in like a purgatory. We have people who know better, right? Making bad decisions because the media. You know how they said all these white people coming from Europe to America are so blown away because the media has been lying to them all this time and they were just shocked to see America is so beautiful. The media controls a lot of narratives. And black people have two tiers of media that continue to lie to them. First, they have the mainstream liberal media that tells the lie initially. Then they have the black media that reinforces the lie and makes and knows how to manipulate and make it more palatable, right? Right? And they have that connection of being the same skin color, so they're able to get gain the trust. Imagine somebody who you trust lying to you manipulating you and brainwashing you and indoctrinating you to the point where you put yourself in dangerous situations like that situation right there. Can you honestly tell yourself that this person cares about you? No, you can't. They don't give a damn about you. All they give a damn about is serving their own interest. Tariq Nasheed, the same person who was just saying that Austin Metcalf should have kept his hands to himself, minded his own business, he should have never put his hands on Carmelo, right? He should have never put his hands on Carmelo, right? Now he's over here cheering some people on as they assault this man for exercising his constitutional right. See, the Constitution doesn't give Carmelo Anthony the right to invade Austin Metcalf team's tent. But it does give Jake Lang the right to express himself however he sees fit, as long as he's not breaking the law. And I'm sorry, I know we like to make the law apply. I know we like to reinforce the two-tier justice system that we love to complain about. But Jake Lang wasn't breaking no law. He wasn't breaking no laws. If I don't like what Jake Lang is doing, I have the power to walk away. All right, I don't like what bro doing. I don't appreciate what bro doing. LA's a big place. Watch this. Watch this. Oh, they just, cause somebody when I watched another stream, they just trying to take your sign. Look, dude hit him across the face. Jake Lang, look it, Jake Lang. And these dudes, let me tell you something. These dudes know exactly how to play black people. They know exactly how to get what they want out of black folks. My question is, why do you keep giving it to them? You don't want to be looked at as animalistic. You don't want to be looked at as hyper emotional. Why do you keep giving them what they want? He's smirking at this idiot. Now, what if he was smiling like that? This dude hits him across the face and he pulled out a gun and shot him and said, I was in fear for my life. A crowd of people were charging me, attacking me, and I thought this dude was going to kill me. See, he hit him across the face right there. And there's many angles for this. See, you went past the point of even trying to take the sign. Now you hitting people. Now you assaulted people. He knows what he wanted. And you're so damn weak, you hit him and you didn't even knock him out. It's always the toughest acting people who the weakest. If I hit this dude, he would have been asleep. You hit him in his face and didn't even knock him out. So all you did was show him that he could kick your ass if he really wanted to. In my opinion, you're weak. And then you see the Mexicans, they in the back talking shit, but they ain't going up there assaulting them. Because that's what these people do. They let the black people go do the stupid shit while they reap the benefits. He's dumb. He's going to go to jail while Lupita in the back on the microphone going to get elected to city council. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. You keep saying, you a coon, you this and that. No, I'm a black man. I'm the most dangerous black man in America. A black man who know how to think. They put you in the front and let you do all the dumb shit. And they go get elected to Congress and the city council and mayor of LA and city controller and school superintendent, right? They take the power. They use the imagery of you acting dumb so they could say, yeah, we was there. We was there when the black guy did the dumb shit that got him arrested. And we stood by him. We didn't do none of the dumb stuff, but we were there. And they get to reap all the benefits of the risk you take. And you get to go to jail and be, get this record. You're the one who gets to become an outcast. And then when that person gets into office, they're not going to come and say, let me give Tyrone a job because he was riding for us back in the day when the racists came to LA. Hell no. They're going to say, Tyrone, you have a couple things on your record here. It says you assaulted someone. Yeah, you remember when we was at the protest. Yeah, but I can't get a job, buddy. Miguel, you got the job, my friend. Tyrone's disqualified. That's the way it goes. I know you don't like to hear this, but that's the fact. Them's the facts. Now look at this. She's talking all that craziness. Look at the Hispanic guy. He's like doing security for Jake Lang. He's doing security for him. See, these people are smart. I'm going to get my money. I don't give a damn about none of this. I'm going to get my bread and go home. Now here goes another black man. Here goes another black man assaulting him. Right there. Look, did you see the black guy kick him in the ass right there? Look, right here, this guy on the left-hand side. Look, try to kick him in the back of his knee. Bro tried to take his knee out. But this is what we're showing our young people. Then we say, oh, man, why they were so reactionary? Why the young kids shooting each other up in the street? You're showing them to be that way. You're leering them. You're teaching them, and they're leering how to be that way from you. It's disgusting. It's disgusting behavior. And ironically, you're proving Jake Lang's point. Because his sign says black culture is disgusting. You're proving his point. Now look at him. They look, see, up, another assault. Why aren't the police taking these dudes to jail? Look at this. They knocked his stuff out of his hand. When he went to pick it up, the guy hit him in the face. Look. But these are older black men. These dudes at least in their 40s. Look how they acting. Look at this dude. He's sneaky. This dude in the back trying to sneak. He trying to sneak in little cheap shots. Now you have a Latina woman in the background screaming that this is why I can't stand LA. You have a Latina woman in the background screaming that Jake Lang is a domestic terrorist. But Mexicans won't even stand up to the drug cartel members who live in LA, making the streets dangerous, bringing fentanyl into the country, making the streets violent. They bitch up to the cartels who then took over their country and made it unlivable, but they could stand up to a random white guy. He's the terrorist, not El Chapo and El Diego or whatever you want to call him. This guy's the terrorist. This is all selective, even for them. But they've learned something during their sojourn in America. Just use this. It's easier to be hypocritical with the tongue because you can always walk it back and apologize later. But black folks out here assaulting people. No, this is not dumb. This is not dumb at all. This is real. This is real. If it means I got to be an outcast in my own community, well, damn, who wants to be a part of this shit? Brandon, yeah, if you don't assault somebody for exercising their constitutional rights, you a traitor. You a coon, B, if you don't go and take a penitentiary chance and commit a hate crime. That's a hate crime. That is a hate crime. If a black person was standing there with that sign, black people wouldn't have said nothing about it. Believe me, there's plenty of crazy black people downtown LA. Why don't these people have this animosity over Skid Row, which is about a half a mile away? All those black people down there, homeless babies down there. homeless, living in tents, living in cardboard boxes, little infant newborn babies. Why don't you use your energy on that? I'm going to show Jake Lang. I'm going to show the racist. I'm going to help elevate my people. That'll piss Jake Lang off even more, and it will benefit you. You know, Frank Sinatra said the best revenge is massive success. Jake Lang makes millions off of this agitating. So when you're planning to it and attacking him, all you're doing is putting money in his pocket. All you're doing is putting money in his pocket. And look, wisdom bars. This guy calls himself Wisdom Bar. He has no wisdom. He has no wisdom. Jake should have went down there himself because there's way more white people down there. Well, yeah, down on Skid Row? Nah, you're lying. You never even been to LA. There might be do you know that Skid Row is the highest concentration of African Americans in Los Angeles? There's barely any white people down there. There's barely any white people on Skid Row. It's majority black. And it's always been that way. But this is my thing. The best revenge is massive success. Why don't you put the same energy you put into trying to attack somebody for exercising their constitutional rights? Why don't you put that energy into helping your people get to a position where they don't have to react? I know if this was a group of Asians, that wouldn't happen. I know if this was a group of Mexicans, it wouldn't happen. I know if it was a group of whites, no one would have been assaulted. It's always us. We've grown predictable. We've grown predictable. Everyone knows how to lure us out. Everyone knows how to get a reaction out of us. And that's a dangerous position to be in. Austin Metcalf should have kept his hands to himself and minded his business. That's what these black folks should have did. Carmelo Anthony was justified for killing Austin Metcalf for pushing him. Well, looking at this situation, would Jake Lang have been justified in reacting violently? Because he received more than a push. He was straight up attacked. Let's finish this out. We got another topic to go to too. I put the link in the comments if there are any African Americans who are in here who want to refute what I'm saying. They will never come up because everything I'm saying is totally 100% right. Look, they're assaulting him. He's a domestic terrorist. "100% Siamese stormtrooper." No, Carmelo is a murderer, 100%. Oh, maybe you got one. Oh, that's a Mexican. I thought it was a white person. They're literally playing right into this guy's hands. No, Carmelo was more of a threat to his community and America than Jake Lang. Easily. Carmelo Anthony was 10 times more of a threat to not only America, but to his own community than Jake Lang. Because Jake Lang, he's not going to kill anyone. I don't think Jake Lang's going to pull out a knife and stab somebody. Carmelo was ready to kill. He was on a mission to kill. So I don't know what you're talking about. No, this guy was exercising his constitutional right. And black people and Latinos, many of them don't believe in the Constitution. They don't believe in rights because where a lot of these people come from, the third world, when it comes to Latinos, they write a constitution, but it's not even worth the toilet paper that it's written on because they let the drug cartels and stuff punk them out of having rights. Like, that's real. Oh, Jake Lang is getting exactly what they're giving him, exactly what he wants. You know how many views this guy's gonna get on? I mean, he's already in the millions. It's a nice fat paycheck. He controls these people. If Jake Lang really wanted to kill and hurt black people, he knows exactly how to do it. If you do this and say this, they'll start attacking you. And when they start attacking you, that gives you the license to take their life. That's it. But guys, okay, we're going to shift gears because we got to talk about this situation in New York with the socialists taking over. They've implemented the rent freeze and hold on. Yeah, so we got two more topics, so don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about the socialists, then we're going to go, lastly but not least, we're going to talk about Kirk Franklin, the gospel singer. GP, are you with me? Bro crashed out on somebody yesterday at the BET Awards for telling him and his wife going to hell. And I'm going to tell you my opinion. If hell is a real place, do I think Kirk Franklin and his wife gonna go there? And I just think it's funny that Kirk Franklin tripped out on somebody. So we're gonna talk about that. But I want to talk about this socialism thing. We've been socialism every now and then in America. Socialism rears its ugly head, and it basically preys on the ignorant and people who it preys on the poor, the ignorant, and the lazy, because it somehow, and I don't know how people could still think this, because ever since I was young, I was always taught that no one owes you anything and you have to work for what you want. But socialism is able to come in and they're able to trick people into believing that their lives are going to be improved if they empower the government to rob someone else in the name of everyone paying their fair share. Now, this is what I want you to understand. First, before I play any clips, the premise of socialism is to take more money from the people and give it to the government, and then allow the government to redistribute that money according to who the government believes needs the money more or less, right? My first question for the socialists is this. If you hate the government, why would you vote for a system that expands the power of the government and gives the government more power to take things from you at will and give it to someone else? Maybe, let me ask that again. If you hate the government, why do you want to expand the government and give the government more power over the money that you make? They hate America, but their solution for this is to give the American government more power and take autonomy from the everyday American citizen. It doesn't make sense. It just on that premise alone, it makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense. But you have these people who they're running with this you have these people who are running on this platform, and they're like, you're mad at the government. You hate the government. So give the government more of your money and let the government go in and take people's rights from them. And it's like, do you guys even realize? Do you even realize that just the whole premise is just flawed? Fundamentally, it's a reduction into absurdity. But these people are all like, man, yeah, we're going to freeze the rent. They're going to freeze the rent. Guys, only 40% of apartments in New York are rent-controlled apartments. So they're only going to freeze the rent on 40% of apartments. The rest of the rent apartments will still, you'll still be able to raise the rent as you see fit. But these people are using these little tactics. Oh yeah, they're delivering on what they're saying. Well, they're delivering to an extent so they can gain power. But once they gain power, they're not going to do anything. Once they get to Congress, they're going to get right in line with the normal Democrat Party. Because people who get elected don't get elected so they could do one term and then be voted out. They get elected like Andrea Ocasio-Cortez. She never breaks with the traditional Democrat Party. These people are what you call plants. They're listening to your complaints. They know they'll never deliver as a whole. So what they do is they send somebody to say the things you want to hear. And then when that person gets elected
a major victory for
and makes it to Congress, that person falls right in line with the traditional Democrat Party.
In a major victory for Mayor Mom Donnie, the Rent Guidelines Board approves a rent freeze for nearly 1 million rent-stabilized units. But landlords call the process a farce, telling Christina Fan renters will ultimately pay the price.
This is just cosplaying fairness. This isn't real fairness.
Jan Lee, whose family has owned this Chinatown building for nearly a century, is crying foul, accusing the Rent Guidelines Board of freezing rent, despite mounds of data he says shows rising costs for landlords.
They're not even hiding the bias anymore. The mayor had campaigned on a rent freeze. He appoints 75% of the board, and now he's got his hand on the scale.
Just hours before Thursday's meeting, drama unfolded when Christina Smith, a member of the board who represented landlords, resigned from her post, accusing the process of being broken and unjust. But it did little to sway the results, as the Rent Guidelines Board voted 7-1 in an historic first to approve a 0% increase on both 1- and 2-year leases. Renters say the measure was necessary as they struggle to combat inflation and cuts to social services.
It's going to do so much to really affect my life in a good way.
I feel very good because in New York, that's one of the biggest problems that we have. You know, rent is high and we really needed it stabilized.
Mayor Mom Donnie, who campaigned on freezing the rent, insisted the board's decision would be fair and impartial. He responded to the outcome saying in part, "This is the relief that working people across our city deserve." But Lee says it's renters who the freeze will ultimately hurt.
If we keep eroding one side of the equation, something's got to give, and the people in those buildings are going to suffer. So there has to be some kind of fairness and recognition of the math.
The freeze will impact more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants throughout the city and will affect leases that begin after October 1st of this year. From the Upper West Side, Christina Fan, CBS News, New York.
So you see that, the rent freeze, they're all excited. Oh my God, the rent's gonna freeze, all this stuff. Listen, the rent is gonna freeze for 1 to 2 years. After that, then what? Your rent's gonna start going up again. Also, you're gonna kill investment. No one's gonna invest in a city where they know that the city government is gonna be trying to tell them how much they can charge for rent. So basically, this, what these people believe is a victory, right, is actually going to hurt their city going forward. No investment, less jobs, people leaving the city, right? But they're celebrating because, yeah, these people delivered. These people did what they had to do to get into power. And once they get into power, they're going to do what they have to do to stay in power. But one of the most celebrated candidates is this lady named Daria Eliza Chevalier. This woman is crazy. She basically converted to Islam so that Mom Donnie would endorse her for her congressional run. She's the only Muslim in her family. And her reason for converting is, well, all my friends who used to come to the organizing events were so committed. I want to become a Muslim. That's bull. Every single person who Mom Donnie supported either converted to Islam or they went and publicly basically prayed to Allah in public forum and started crapping on Israelis and Jewish people. So now we have a political system in New York that's basically being controlled or run based on what religion you ascribe to, which is crazy. I never thought I would be saying that about America, but it's crazy. Let's listen to this interview this lady had where they asked her about some very unpatriotic comments she made regarding America. And let's see what her response was.
Como dominicana vuelvo y lo digo. Yo me siento ofendida con lo que yo vi, con lo que leí, con lo que podemos. Culpa al dominicano que se siente ahora es que nosotros nos unimos.
What the hell? I thought that was an English. I thought that was an English interview. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Let me see if I can find it here. Democracy Now! Ain't showing nothing. They're not gonna give us anything good. Hold on real quick. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. I am simply an imperfect human being. Don't judge me. There was an interview. Is this it? Hold on. Because the interview I'm looking for, she actually starts kind of apologizing
Yo me siento
for what she said. And she starts like walking back like, oh, well, I know that this could have hurt people and all this stuff. Oh, here it goes. Here it goes. I found it. And this is what I'm telling you about these people being nothing but survivalists. Because this lady was so gangster. Forget the U.S. We support Hamas. All this stuff. Now that she's basically going to be elected because she won the primary and Republicans don't stand a chance in New York, she's pretty much won. But now as she knows she's going to go to Congress, I want you socialists and the people who support these people, I want you to understand that they played you. Watch how she starts walking back these comments she made.
Me duele tanto que la gente piense que
Why
yo
is
soy
everything
orgullosa de
in
ser dominicana.
Spanish?
Porque durante años y me la trataran con respeto, que a luchar y que hay dignidad para todos.
Guys, come on, man. We in America voting for. Oh my God, I is my shit set to Spanish or something? No, it's not. What the heck? Why am I on Spanish YouTube? I mean on X. Dude, this is dumb.
Found that one of the candidates who won in
Guys, this is wild. If y'all never watch me again, I forgive y'all. Dude, man, I'm telling you, these people are voting for one thing: skin color. Skin color and ethnicity. They don't give a damn about America. They don't give a damn about things that hurt America or help America. All they care about is more of us than them. We need more of us than them. So they can make this country like the countries they fled from. Daria Lisa. Which is crazy. Even with the Islamic people. Oh, I think it's this right here. All right, cool.
congressional district. It's an area that covers upper Manhattan and parts of the Bronx, where an outsider mounted a challenge against an established member of New York's Democratic establishment and won. For the past decade, New York 13 has been represented by Adriano Espaillat, a man who's heralded as a trailblazer within his community. Before running for office, he broke ground when he challenged black political influence in Harlem and the South Bronx. In 2012 and 2014, he challenged the Democratic incumbent in his district, Charles Rangel, who had been in Congress since 1971. Espaillat lost both times, but finally won in 2016, beating out Rangel's chosen successor after Rangel retired. Espaillat's win was historic. He was the first Dominican American and the first formerly undocumented immigrant elected to Congress. He was reelected 4 times, currently serving as the chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, and he's considered the dean of New York Latino politics. But more recently, Espaillat has been criticized for his support for continued U.S. aid to Israel amid its war in Gaza, and for the support that he's received from AIPAC and affiliated groups. Last night, Espaillat and fellow New York Congressman Dan Goldman became only the 3rd and 4th Democratic incumbents to lose in the primary this year. Now,
something I want you guys to understand is this. People have like a super thing. They're super mad at Israel, right? And I understand if you have issues with Israel, I get it. But are you so hateful of Israel that you're willing to destroy your own country to hurt them? Because I could see if the anti-AIPAC, anti-Israeli lobby candidates like had common sense. But you're voting for socialists, right? As a way to get rid of people who accept AIPAC money. Like, guys, socialism is just going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you way more than Israel's going to hurt you. Because socialists are going to take everything you have and they're going to say, well, we're going to send it to this other group of people, but they're just going to pocket it. That's what they do. Having 3 or 4 socialists in Congress isn't going to change anything, because now even the Democrats are saying we might not even seat these people. They're saying we might not even let these people sit with us in Congress. Then what you do? What do you do then?
The question is, what will the next chapter of her story and the Democrat story look like? Joining me now is Daria Liza Avila Chevalier, Democratic nominee for Congress in New York's 13th District. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
I'm hoping, because you will be a member of Congress, that we will have many opportunities to have a conversation, which means the first conversation is going to be a little tough to get through because you've now moved from a hot part of the primary where things are really hot into you're going to be the next member of Congress. And everybody's now looking at you and saying, what is that going to look like? Last night, we were on air when you delivered your speech in which you said, quote, the corporate landlords and lobbies who powered our opponent's campaign knew that he didn't represent us in this district. He didn't fight for us. He represented them and he fought for them, end quote. Now, first of all, have you spoken to Adriano Espaillat?
Yes, we spoke last night.
Okay. How'd that go? Because there's a rift in your district at the moment, which often happens after a primary.
I think it was a brief but, positive conversation where he congratulated me and offered support in this transition. And I think New Yorkers deserve that kind of transition, one where we're working together to deliver for them.
You have to do and say things in primaries. And then now you are the actual Democratic Party representative. That's not always the same as being a member of the Democratic Socialists of America. How do you square that?
I think I'm very proud of the campaign that I've run, one where I am presenting the vision that I have for New Yorkers here in this district. And that has always been the vision that I have for them, right? I've been very frank and honest about what that is. And even when folks disagree with my vision, I am very proud to say I will always be honest about my position on things. And even if we don't agree, I will still fight for every single person in my district, because that is what they deserve. They deserve somebody who's going to fight to make sure that they have all of the resources that they need to lead a dignified life as New Yorkers. I think you probably, and at some point we'll be done with this conversation, but you probably want this conversation to go away. But there are the social media posts. You have had derogatory posts about Joe Biden and about Kamala Harris.
You did apologize for the Kamala Harris one. I guess the Joe Biden one, you did say you called him a rapist. Is that the kind of thing that just because you're sort of a digital native and that you do on the internet, or did you believe that, and do you believe that?
You know, I think there was a lot of misunderstandings around where my posts, why they were deleted. I deleted my account many years back because I was focused on returning to organizing and my studies. I was working on a PhD program. And I think often we're asked to really have accountability for folks who have not held political office or have political power, and don't do the same for folks who are in positions of political power. Now, all that to say, I do regret my tweets, and that's something that I think has brought a lot of division, and that's something I regret, because as an organizer, my goal is always to unify our community and
Okay, so now you're getting played. This is where I don't want to laugh at the people who voted for her, but I just feel sorry for them. I do regret all my tweets. I do. Now she's apologizing. She got you all excited. Yes, she's against the establishment. She spoke out against Joe Biden. She spoke out against Kamala Harris. Now she's apologizing so she can lick the boots of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Now she's apologizing so she can lick the boots of Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer. Because when it comes time for her to get reelected next time, and the people looking around say, this woman ruined our city and she didn't do anything for us, she's going to need that DNC money so she can beat out the person who comes in, to challenge her. That's why she's apologizing. And this is what they do to the gullible Democrat voter. They tell them everything they want to hear. They jump out and talk that big shit. And then as soon as they get what they want, because she's going to be elected no matter what. I mean, New York, they ain't voting Republican in that district. Now she starts to walk it back. And when she gets to Congress and she gets her assignment and all that stuff, she's going to vote right in line with the same establishment Democrats who take AIPAC money on every issue. The same way Andrea Ocasio-Cortez did. The same way Jamal Bowman did. The same way Cori Bush did. The same way Elizabeth Warren does. These people are not against AIPAC. These people are not against giving Israel money. These people are just the ones they sent to say they are so Democrats can retain those seats. You got played.
Program. And I think often we're asked to really have accountability for folks who have not held political office or have political power, and don't do the same for folks who are in positions of political power. Now, all that to say, I do regret my tweets, and that's something that I think has brought a lot of division, and that's something I regret, because as an organizer, my goal is always to unify our community and deliver for our community. And I think there is this question of why is it that when folks who do not have power, political power in this instance, are being held accountable for things, we don't also hold accountable folks who do have political power, where the decisions they are making in office every single day have an enormous impact on millions of people in our country, right? And I think for folks who feel disempowered, it's important to make sure that we're getting to the heart of where that sense of disempowerment is coming
You actually said that with respect to your tweet about Kamala Harris. You said that it came from a place of you feeling disempowered.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just say this. So the socialists always talk about, we have to do this for the disempowered. We have to do that for the disempowered. Oh, the disenfranchised, the homeless, the. What are you going to do for the people busting their ass who got their head, at least have their head above water? What are you going to do for the people who struggle and fight every day to show up to work and make this country work? I always used to tell people this. You can't build a country on the backs of the less fortunate. You can't say, I'm going to take all political policy and aim it at the bottom. And we're going to lift the bottom, and the bottom's going to lift up, and everyone's going to lift up. That's not how it works. That's why when, I had my organization, I wasn't really worried about so much helping like the poor, like the the super poor, I used to aim all my support at the middle class, man. Because I understood the middle class is the engine that drives this country. The mom and dad who they haven't had a date night in years because they got to work every day until they're exhausted and still find a way to take care of their kids. The mechanic, he makes pretty good money, but he ain't making millions. The plumber, the lady who works at the grocery store. These people come in with this toxic empathy. They tell you, well, you got to help the poor. You got to help. Guys, the people they're talking about helping don't even vote. They're tugging on your heartstrings so you sell yourself out. What is if you got your last 20, say you got $20 left in your pocket, and you feel so bad for this homeless person on the corner, you hand them your last $20 bill. But then you get in your car to start up and drive away and say, damn, I'm on E. How you going to get to work? How you going to pick your kids up from school? Yeah, they got your $20. They're going to take it and do whatever they want with it. But you can't help anyone until you help yourself. Why in the world are you allowing people to convince you to vote for them based on them telling you what they going to do for someone else that's not you? You have New Yorkers, we can't pay the rent. We can't afford to pay rent, but they're steady voting for these people to take their money and give it to people. God knows who they're giving it to. If you can't pay your rent, how can you afford to give the government more money through taxation, which is what these people are going to end up making you do? Oh, wait, you think they're going to take it from the rich, and y'all going to do all this on the rich folks' dime. Nah, the rich folks just going to leave. That's what they do. That's what they're best at. Y'all tripping. We're out.
Yeah, and I think so many folks in our country feel that they don't have representation that is fighting for them, right? And that was part of why I decided to run, because I've felt that abandonment from establishment politics that looks at my community as though it is merely statistics and not people who are worth fighting for, and not the policies that will actually better their lives. And too often we've seen folks go into office and close the door behind them, but what we need is representation that's actually going to listen to the community, hear the frustrations, and open that door and keep it propped open so that everyone can be part of their democracy.
Do you think these people are really listening to the community? The community is made up of all types of people. People with money, people who don't have money, people who are barely making it, rich people. You're only listening to a certain part of the community so that you can say, well, yeah, I listen to the community and they said do this. They're only listening to the part of the community that says what they need them to say so they can implement their socialist agenda. And then I got people, oh, you're dumb, you're not. Well, come up here. Explain to me. Explain to me what they going to do when the rich people say, hey, we not paying these extra taxes. We out. That's all I'm asking you to do. Explain to me what these people are going to do when the rich people say, look, y'all doing too much with the taxes. We're going to go move to other places and invest our money over there. Because you guys don't understand. These are cities and states, not prisons. You can't force someone to stay. So when you start abusing them, when you start implementing abusive taxation, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to leave. They're going to leave. And who pays the taxes then? And you could say anything you want to me. Oh, Brandon, we've already watched this happen in New York, where they are. You could keep playing this game like, oh, that's not going to happen. It's already happened. It already happened. Y'all forgot the damn governor of New York? Y'all forgot when she got on stage and was like, we need to go ask our billionaires, our millionaires and billionaires. we need to ask them to come back. This she said the first thing we need to do is, I'm gonna use this white girl's video. Look. Hold on. Okay. All right, look, I'm gonna show y'all this. Cause I got people in my comments who be like, you're stupid. No one's gonna leave, this and that. And I'm like, this is how the Democrats win. They target the most ignorant people who don't know what's going on in the real world. And then they say, vote for me, I'm gonna give you something free. And then the person is so detached from reality, they're like, free stuff sounds good to me. And they vote for these people. Listen to the governor of New York tell you out of her own mouth that the billionaires are leaving New York and that she needs to go to Florida to beg them to come back. So this is what I want you to think, all the geniuses out there. Now that the billionaires are leaving, who does that leave to pay the taxes that are now being generated by all these free this, free that, lower the rent, subsidized grocery store? Who gets to foot that bill? And I want you to go to the bathroom, look in the mirror, and point at yourself and say, you stupid. I want you to do that. Let's listen. You don't want to listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Listen to the governor of New York tell you that the billionaires have left and they are continuing to leave, and she needs to go to Florida to beg them to come back.
They're feeling that I hear about literally every day. What I want to make sure we are smart about is having a system in place where it's not just taxing for the sake of taxing, and being conscious of the facts that I need people who are high net worth to support the generous social programs that we want to have in our state. Right? Now, there are some patriotic millionaires who stepped up. Okay, cut me the checks. I mean, just if you want to be supportive, but maybe the first step should be go down to Palm Beach and see who you can bring back home, because our tax base has been eroded. So I philosophically don't have a problem. It is like I have to look at the fact that we are in competition with other states who have less of a tax burden on their corporations and their individuals. And I would say remote work changed everything. There were people who could only work in an office in Manhattan or work in New York State, and they were captives to our state. They were going to stay.
Of course.
We saw that that's not the case. I mean, you know, Wall Street businesses looking at Texas, they're not going there because they have a nicer governor. I know that for sure. But they're going there because of the tax rate. We have to be smart about this. But we can fund what we want to fund with what we already are taking in.
Guys, I think she's like going to become a conservative on us, right? I mean, she's like, what do I do? Taxes are too high and they're going to make them worse in New York. And it's one thing, like she can say, okay, I'm not going to raise state taxes, and she shouldn't. Okay. Like, she can't. She will not get reelected. She probably won't get reelected right now. I think that the handwriting's on the wall because she can't pay the bills because all the billionaires have left. Like, think about what a resource that was, not just for New York City. It's 4% in New York City, but somewhere around 11% in New York State. Boy, am I glad I don't live there anymore.
Okay, so I never even saw this girl's channel, but she makes total sense. But listen, why is it that I could say that? Why is it that Trish Reagan can see that? Why is it that so many people can see this, but the Democratic Socialists of America, they can't see it? They do see it. They do see it. But they just know that the people who vote for them are so dumb that they can tell them anything and they'll believe it. As long as they line it with, you're going to get something free. Look, eat the rich, pay their fair share, democratic socialism. What about Norway? What about Sweden? They know they just got to say a certain words in a certain cadence, and you're going to say, okay, that sounds good. I'm voting for that person. Guys, we're not living in a fairy tale. This is the real world. Nothing is free. And if the people who paid for it leave, it's like, okay, say you live with your parents. If your parents wake up tomorrow and say, F this, we leaving. Either you got to find a way to pay the rent or the mortgage, or you got to leave. New people aren't going to move into the house and say, well, we'll pay all the bills for you. We'll make sure everything gets handled. They're not going to do that. No one's going to do that. But somehow, the highly intelligent people of New York City, they believe that, they not going to leave. We just going to take all their money and we just going to try to rob them blind. But they not going to leave. They love it here too much. Shit. Ha! Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That's not that's not how they feel. That's 100% not how they feel. They'll leave. You won't leave because you can't leave. They will come play around in New York all day long. As soon as they have their fun, guess what? They will get up, pack their luggage, and ghost y'all ass like it's nobody's business. Do you think that they feel loyalty to you? Do you think anyone will feel loyalty to a group of people who tried to rob them blind through taxation? And you're like, New York, Mike D6, New York City was already super. Yeah, it was. But do you know why New York City is so expensive? Because of the overregulation. It's the same reason California is expensive. Because you elect Democrats, they start regulating everything, taxing the hell out of everything, right? Right? They start taxing the hell out of everything. And then all of a sudden, everything is out of control. It's out of control. But what I try to tell people is we don't have to wait and see with New York. We don't have to wait and see. Oh, what's going to happen if what these people are trying to do actually happens in New York? We don't have to wait and see. Right? We can look at other cities. We can see other people, we can see other cities where they've implemented these horrible policies, right? And now the same lawyers, the same mayors, right? Right? Who were talking about, they could leave and this and that, right? Now those same mayors are begging these companies, please don't leave. They're begging these companies, please don't leave. They attack these companies. They show them, we don't give a damn. We don't appreciate what you're doing. We don't care. You'll always be here. And now these companies are straight up leaving. And they don't know what to do. Because they can't find, right? They can't find the money. They can't find the money. I want to play this. Hold on. Oh, yeah, look. They can't find the money now. In New York, in New York, you are in the same position. You've allowed Zora Mom Donnie to put you in the same position. You ever saw the movie Escape from New York? That's what it's going to look like. Let's play this.
A warning tonight about Seattle's financial future. The city's budget shortfall is larger than originally projected, with the latest deficit coming to nearly $500 million over the next several years. Tonight, we're diving into Mayor Wilson's plan to address the financial challenges.
You guys keep saying I don't know what I'm talking about. The link's in the comments. If I don't know what I'm talking about, come explain it to me. Also, guys, we have a super chat challenge. If you are in a position to do so, we are trying to get 10 super chats of $5 or more before the end of the show. Also, we have PayPal available as a donation option. We also have Cash App available, pinned to the top of the chat. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you like what you're hearing. We're in the building. I appreciate all you guys for rocking with me this long. Let's get into it.
Ahead and how it could impact you.
It could be one of the toughest tests for Mayor Wilson ahead, how to balance a budget deficit that has grown about $100 million more than originally projected. The latest shortfall stands at around $488 million over the next 3 years. Only 6 months into the job, it's a financial challenge Wilson inherited, but now her problem to solve.
So we have some really severe budget problems at the city of Seattle right now. We have a very large budget deficit, which has been, a structural deficit that goes back years, but it's been kind of papered over with a lot of one-time fixes. We're running out of tools, so there are challenges ahead.
Wilson made that statement this month during a forum hosted by City Club and moderated by Fox 13. The mayor's office is expected to ask most departments for spending cuts, but Mayor Wilson also indicating cuts alone won't be her strategy. Taxes are on the table.
Are you going to expand the payroll tax to pay for this?
So we're looking at options now, and it's a very large deficit, like you said. I think we're looking at about $175 million for next year. And so, yeah, we are looking at new revenue options. I'll say, nothing's, off the table. I mean,
before her role as mayor, as an activist...
Wait, I want you guys to listen to what she said. When she was running, we're going to make this astronomical budget when we already know we're in a budget deficit that I've inherited. We're going to add more money, more debt onto that debt, right? And when people said, well, how are you going to pay for it? We're going to tax the rich. We're going to tax the hell out of Amazon. We're going to tax the hell out of Starbucks. We're going to tax the rich, right? Amazon moved across the lake to Bellevue. Starbucks shut down a lot of their operation in Seattle and moved it to Tennessee. Now, guess who's footing the bill? You. Because now they're about to add a payroll tax. They're about to add, because Seattle, Washington State was one of those places that didn't have a payroll tax. Like the state wouldn't take none of the money out of your paycheck when you got paid. Now they're bringing in a payroll tax to pay for this pay for this deficit. But I voted for her because she said she was gonna tax the rich. She didn't say she was gonna tax me. She said she was gonna tax the rich. The rich left. Now money and this guy, I wish this clown would come up here. Sub J Stan, you definitely a sub. But let me tell you that, this is the guy that simps for the 1%. That's the type of idiotic thinking that gets people in this position. The rich can leave. You cannot. When they leave and their money is no longer there to be taxed, now Katie is looking at you and your little peanuts. Now you're paying for the things that you were trying to force the major companies and the rich people to pay for. You're biting yourself in the ass, thinking that you're gonna bite the rich man in the ass. He shows you. Guys, can all of you tell Sub J Stan to come up in the comments? Tell him, put a 1 if you want this fool to come up. I ain't simping for no 1%. I'm warning the middle class. Stop trying to weaponize government against the rich. You will not win.
Wilson pushed for the payroll tax, aka the Jumpstart tax. Seattle City Council passed the measure in 2020, targeting large companies with employees making high salaries. In recent years, Seattle has relied heavily on the new revenue to balance its budget. In 2026, the payroll tax is expected to collect $410 million. That's according to a new report from the Downtown Seattle Association. But DSA also blames the payroll tax for job loss. DSA compared tax conditions in Seattle and Bellevue, calling it a stark tale of two cities. The report states, since the Jumpstart payroll tax was implemented, downtown Seattle has lost around 30,000 jobs. Between 2023 and 2025, Seattle shed 1.3% of its jobs, while Bellevue gained 12.6%. Between 2020 and 2025, Seattle's office properties declined 48% in value, while those in Bellevue rose 7%.
Okay, so you attack the rich corporations and all that, right? But the only people who suffered was the middle class. Jobs. 30,000 jobs gone from one city overnight. Ooh, yeah. You went after the rich. Yeah, that's showing them, man. They won't do whatever they did no more. Because y'all taught them a lesson, boy. You didn't teach them a lesson. You made a fool out of yourself. And this is what the New Yorkers are about to do. There is nothing new under the sun. This has already been tried in New York. They already had times where they froze the rent. A lot of the stuff that you're dealing with now, as far as housing in New York, is because of policies like freeze the rent and rent control. But you always got that contingent. No matter how much you show them, no matter how much you put it in their face, they're going to keep trying to tell you, you're wrong. They're going to just start name calling. You're wrong. You're a bootlicker. You're da-da-da-da-da. Nah, bruh.
Well, city officials say some of the core reasons why Seattle is in a budget deficit is because of inflation and tax revenue from other sources not coming in as projected. We're talking about property and sales taxes. Mayor Wilson is set to unveil her budget proposal for the first time in September. We reached out to the mayor's office today asking for more specifics on potential expansion of the payroll tax and also those spending cuts. They released a statement that reads in part, earlier this year, the mayor asked departments to propose scenarios that include hard choices around reducing spending and finding new efficiencies while maintaining critical city services. She will be using that information as she puts her budget package together, but has not proposed any kind of uniform across the board cuts. We'll be right back.
Right. So now she's putting her budget package together, but she ain't got all that billionaire money to use. These socialists, they're so bad for like business, right? Even the Democrat Party doesn't want them around anymore. Even the Democrat Party, listen to this, man. Even the Democrat Party, bruh, is like trying to disown these people at this point. Even the Democrat Party is trying to disown these people. The economists are now saying, like, in Seattle are saying 55% of Seattle's companies are leaving. 55%. Do y'all listen, bro? 55% of Seattle's companies are about to leave. They're going to Nashville, Tennessee. They're getting the hell out of Dodge. This is, man, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. And people are still goofy enough. You know what I'm saying? And people in their city, they're blaming her. They're just like, dude, she ran her mouth. She wrote a check that her ass couldn't cash. and now we're all suffering.
Hi, everybody. We are following the fallout from the comments by Washington's former governor, Christine Gregoire, who suggested in an open forum in a moment that's really gone viral online that Washington State does not have a revenue problem, it has a spending problem. It was a moment that seemed to be calling out her former colleagues in Olympia in the state legislature and the current governor, Bob Ferguson. What we've been trying to get to today is there data to back up her claims, and perhaps that we have seen now Washington State and the city of Seattle reach a tipping point. Again today, Starbucks announced new layoffs, not only here in Seattle, but of remote workers, corporate jobs. That seems to indicate Starbucks is continuing to move jobs out of Washington State after the state legislature and Washington Governor Bob Ferguson signed off on a new millionaires tax. We dove into some numbers from the city of Seattle, and it seems while there has been growth in terms of residential growth in the city, there has been a decline in jobs at the same time. It is why the Downtown Seattle Association President John Scholes is suggesting that there is a tipping point right now, that jobs, at least locally, are moving to Bellevue and other parts of the region. We'll dive into this more on the TV side, but for
okay, so Seattle is experiencing a growth in population, right? But their economy is shrinking, right? Their job market is shrinking. Well, here's the thing. When you market yourself as a liberal utopia, where everybody's getting free shit and we'll give you whatever you want, this type of thing, you're going to attract a lot of bums. You're going to attract people, but you're not going to attract people who want to work. That's the problem. You're going to attract a lot of bums, and they're going to come to your city. They're going to come to your city, and they're going to come looking for free stuff. Understand that. They're going to come looking for free stuff. And if the jobs are leaving, there are less people to tax, right? To pay for the free stuff that these people are coming to look for. It's very common. It's just basic common sense. And this is the problem that these people are in. And it's so bad that, these Democratic Socialists, quote unquote, they're so bad for business that even the Democrat Party is like, we don't really want, any part of these people. Because even though we hate Trump and all that, we still want prosperity because they live in America too. So they're talking about, we're going to disown these socialists and just make them outcasts in Congress.
For more on all of the developments, but most notably this incredible sweep here in New York City and Mom Donnie flexing his muscle, we are joined by Democratic strategist James Carville. James, great to have you on the show. So the headline in the Axios headline this morning says, Socialist earthquake leaves Democrats reeling. One Democratic lawmaker said, holy shit, S-H-I-T, buckle up. A Democratic strategist said, quote, we will not stand by as our party contemplates writing this road to ruin. Are they just is this hysterical reaction, or are they right?
This is 90% hysterical reaction. It's 3 seats in New York City. Okay, come on, let's get real. And by the way, 2 of them, I don't think are even Democrats. This Chevalier lady, they should not seat her in the caucus. Her views are totally against anything that any Democrat has. We believe in pluralism. She doesn't even believe in interracial dating.
Yeah.
I mean, who would? I don't think there's a place in the party. By the way, I'm not sure she wants to be a Democrat. Go do something else. Form your own party.
Yeah, you're talking about Dario Lisa Chevalier. She wants to abolish ICE. She at one point wanted to abolish police. She wanted to abolish all deportations of anyone, anywhere. In past social media posts, she called veterans war criminals, called President Biden a rapist, said COVID came from France, not China. Who is this person? And she just unseated an incumbent Democrat.
She is not a Democrat. Okay, that is pretty clear. And frankly, I think a lot of Democrats feel like I do. I don't have any problem, just no washed up consultant, but I wouldn't seat her. This is not who we are. And we should just say, look, you duly elected, have your seat in Congress, but you're not getting any committee assignments when the Democrats get the majority. And by the way, as Jamie Harrison, the former Democratic chair, said, all of these people hate Democrats. Why do you want to run as a Democrat? Start your own movement. If it's such a powerful, sweeping movement that's got momentum everywhere, then go ahead and be at the head of it. Don't use the Democratic Party to advance it.
Yeah.
Because we don't have any interest in it.
The animating force behind all three of these Mom Donnie-backed candidates is a real strong anti-Israel ideology. At that party where they were chanting "You're next" to Hakeem Jeffries, they were also chanting "Free, free Palestine." They weren't chanting "free, free healthcare" or "free, free." They were chanting "Free, free Palestine." And Congressman Goldman, who lost his seat last night, warned that anti-Semitism will be the undoing of our democracy. Is he right?
Well, it's disgusting. Okay, and you got to be careful not to conflate two things. You can be hugely anti the policies of the government of Israel,
right?
Which I would certainly describe myself as one. But when you say I don't think Israel should exist, then I don't have room for you. I have all the room in the world to criticize Israeli policies, to criticize the settlements, which I think were stupid, ignorant to start with, and they continue to be.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to understand. Why do people think that if you have an issue with Israel, right? Like, if you don't like what Israel's doing, cool. I mean, speak your mind. Let them know. But when you go extreme, I don't think they should exist. And listen, bro, what you think in that situation doesn't matter because you don't live in the Middle East and you're not going to go to the Middle East to shoot or kill nobody on behalf of what you claim to believe. So you could criticize Israel all damn day. Hey, they shouldn't be doing the settlements. They shouldn't be doing the bombings. They shouldn't. Go hard on them, as hard as you want to. But when you start talking about who does and does not have a right to exist, you're crossing the line. Do you think you cursing Israel out is going to make them stop putting money in American politics? No. Do you think you saying you don't believe they have the right to exist, do you think that's going to make them stop putting money in American politics? They're going to put more money in American politics. They're going to try to push the buttons of influence even more because they're going to say, now we have an enemy within American politics, so we have to fund the people who are against them. They're going to give more money to the Republican Party. They're going to give more money to the Republican Party. And all those people you done pissed off, and yeah, they don't take AIPAC money. The minute your bad policies start having a negative effect on them, they're just going to stop voting. They're not going to vote Republican, but they're not going to vote for you either. Why do you think voter turnout has been so low? Because when liberals aren't happy, they don't vote. They just stay home. I know, because most black folks are liberal, and that's what black people do. They just stay home. See, the Democrats think we're going to have a blue wave. I'm not really sold on the idea of a blue wave because I think a lot of their voters are going to. The Democrat who's a Democrat, but he doesn't believe in socialism because he's a business owner and doesn't want to see a world where businesses are getting head tax put on them and all these ridiculous taxes, he might not go full on Republican, but he will just not vote. And what Democrats are doing is they're turning their moderate Democrats, they're turning their Democrats who have common sense, they're turning them into conservatives. They're moving the middle. They're taking the middle further to the left. And when you do that, you get situations like what you had with Elon Musk, right? You get situated, it's just so many people. Joe Rogan. The Democrat Party is not learning from 2016. They're not learning from 2000. They're not learning from 2024. The more extreme you go, the more people you leave behind. But they don't get it. I'm gonna play a little bit more of this, then we got a guest.
They can criticize.
If you want to speak, this is come up and speak. This is your last opportunity because we're ending soon. Hit the link in the comments. Guys, also don't forget our donation, our contribution goal. I still have faith that we can hit it. 10 super chats of $5 or more, or you can contribute through Cash App or PayPal. Thank you. It's all linked in the comment section. Thank you. All right, play a little bit more of this.
As whether or not they reacted strategically to October the 7th, that's all fine. That's all fine. But once you start, and you can be as critical as you want of the government, but when you start like they don't have to exist, or you run against the concept of Jewish people, then you got no place at my table. I can tell you that. I'd rather go to post without you and take my chances than go to post with you, which I'd still be taking my chance. I think the smart political move is not to seek these people. Or some of them, you want to be like Brad Lawton. I'm okay. I like Dan Goldman. I would have voted for him, but the guy's okay. He's left of me, but that's okay. He described himself as a liberal Zionist, which I would almost describe myself as. Mm-hmm. But you got to draw the line here somewhere, and it's going to take a definitive reaction, I think, from some of the party elders. And it's just a really urban, concentrated movement, mostly in New York. You got some.
It's on the West Coast too, up in Michigan.
Like that. Okay, yeah, a little bit, but that Michigan maybe. You do a long way to go, but I don't think there's a place for anti-Semitism in the Democrat. But we're not anti-anything. That's why we're Democrats. We're not anti-interracial dating. We're not anti-Muslim. We're not anti-anything. That's the kind of people we are. And when you ask us to be anti-something, the answer should be that's not, we're not going there.
I mean, I rarely agree with James Carville. I think the last time I agreed with him was on Trump's case in New York, where he said it was a totally bull crap case. I think I like him because he's honest a lot of times when he's just like, look, we are biased. We are Democrats. We don't like Republicans. We don't, this type of thing. He'll just come out and say it. And it's kind of refreshing. I like that about him, even though he's a liberal, but I like that he just admits how biased he is. And he's going to support Democrats no matter what. But you have to understand, Carville represents the sentiment of most of the Democrats in Congress. They're closer to his age than they are to our age. So they think alike. They're the big tent party. That's what they say, right? So they're like, everyone's welcome. You could be a transgender salamander with a duck's beak on your face, and you're good. Come on in. When you start getting Democrats to the point where they have to start excluding people, that's where they fail. Because the majority of their base is a bunch of liberal do-gooders, tree huggers who want to love everybody, right? They want to let all these immigrants in. So when you start talking about, Israel, and you got to go against Israel, there are a lot of Democrats who support Israel. When I was younger, I didn't really realize that, but there are a lot of white Christian people who are also Democrat who, for whatever reason, support Israel. They believe that they're the people of the Bible. They believe they're God's chosen people. Their religion dictates that they have to support these people. And at this point in America, there are more of these type of people than there are people who don't like Israel. And then people are like, AIPAC. And then people are like, what is AIPAC? No, your mom's dumb, John Cash. Why do people call me dumb? And this is when you're dealing with a libtard. They'll call you dumb, but then when you challenge them to come up here and explain it to you, they never will. I've even went as far as offering these people gift cards to come tell me where I'm wrong. And they can't. That's how you know that these people are just ideologues. They just believe what they believe because they believe it. And they don't really believe it. They just believe it because they've been told that that's what they should believe. And it's pathetic. A grown man, John Cash, he can't even explain why he thinks and believes what he believes. I could sit up here for 2 hours and break down everything I believe in secession with no interruptions, no hiccups. Every person should be able to do that. I wouldn't even feel comfortable casting a vote if I couldn't do that. No, it's nothing to see. If you can't see it, I can't understand it for you. See, and these are always deflections, right? If you can't see it, I see it just fine. Someone told you that you need to hate Israel. Someone told you that you need to hate America. And you just started doing it. The media brainwashing worked on you. The media brainwashing worked on you. I'm not hating anybody. I might not like what a country does, but I don't live in that country. So I don't really know what the ins and outs are. Oh, because they doing this to Hamas and they doing this to Palestine. Look, man, yes, that sucks. But I'm sure when Hamas launches bombs and shit into Israel, I'm sure that sucks too. Look, Israel's a terrorist state. They all terrorists. They all terrorists. Whatever side of the aisle you look for, every one of them is doing something that the other side can call terrorism. That's the stupid thing. They're terrorists. Okay, define terrorists. If these people come up and define terrorists, right? If these people come up and define terrorists, everybody involved will fall under that definition. Here's what I know. I know I'd rather live in Israel than the Gaza Strip as a black man. Because from what I've researched, they hate black people over there. They treat black people like crap. So y'all hate racists, y'all hate terrorists, y'all hate Nazis. But y'all love Nazis. Y'all will operate like a Nazi if it gives you a chance to go at Israel. Y'all hate racists, but you will then turn around and support racists as long as they're Palestinian racists. See, see, this is why I just stay out of it. This is why I stay out of it. Because it's like everyone is doing something. I knew a dude, he was black. He was from Palestine. Bro told me, he said, man, in Palestine, they hate blacks. They hate black people. He said they make us live in a separate area. How you getting bombed out? How you getting bombed out, but you telling black folks you can't stay over here? Shit, what? You would think that there would be no discrimination in a place like that. But there is. There is. So you go against Israel to support a bunch of racists. Okay. That's why you should stay out of things that don't concern you. Yes. Look, I typed it. Is there anti-black racism in Palestine? Yes, anti-black racism exists in Palestine, particularly affecting Afro-Palestinians who face discrimination rooted in historical slavery and colorism. Many Afro-Palestinians are descendants of Africans brought to the region through the Islamic slave trade, and they continue to encounter social marginalization, including limited employment opportunities, restrictions on intermarriage, and verbal harassment. In Gaza, approximately 11,000 black Palestinians reside in a neighborhood known as Al-Abid, slaves in Arabic, where they report subtle but pervasive racism. Residents describe being subjugated to heightened security checks, exclusion from customer-facing jobs, and social stigma with dark-skinned women facing stricter marriage barriers than men. While there is no official state policy of discrimination, social attitudes often require black Palestinians to prove themselves twice as much to gain acceptance. So they got apartheid over there. Stop the Israeli apartheid. Can't we stop the Palestinian apartheid too? This is why I don't bother myself with things that don't concern me. Because now I look at you like, okay, so you're going to get rid of the Zionists for the Palestinian racists. Okay, we got you. How does that help anything? How does that help anything? I'm black. That matters to me. That matters to me. 100% right, Rob. Suicidal empathy. That ruins it. It's a real thing. Fact. But you'll look at me in the face and say, black man, you got to go against Israel because Palestine and free God. And I'm like, yeah, but they racist too, though. They wouldn't ride for me. They wouldn't. There was Palestinian protesters who attacked a bunch of black Hebrew Israelites in New York. That's why I mind my own business. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. Y'all grown. But you know what I would say? One lesson that Palestinians can learn from black people in America. You know, we went through slavery. And though I feel like there's a lot of things about slavery that black people have not forgiven, I feel like black people just understood at a certain point. You just got to do what you got to do to provide a better life for your children and your family. I don't think Palestinians in the Gaza Strip really get that. I think they have a idea or ideology. They are like committed to it, and they are willing to live like I believe they're willing to just like risk everything, you know, in the name of like eradication of Israel. And I don't have a dog in the fight. Whatever happens, happens. But I'm just like, I don't want to be in some desert fighting an enemy that I have no chance of defeating. Right? and my kids living in bombed out apartment frames. Can we just make peace already so we can get on with living our lives? That's what I'll be talking about. Can we just make peace? Because I know like Palestinians and stuff. I got some homies who are Palestinian. I got some homies who are Syrian too. But their parents are like, you know, Palestinian, half Syrians. And I'm just like, yeah, I understand that your parents went through this, your grandparents did this and that, and Israel did that to them. But you're living here in America comfortably, rich, making money. And there are people in Gaza getting bombed out, right? And they have nothing. And you're like, yeah, keep fighting the good fight, but you don't have to deal with none of the consequences of that. You should be telling them, look, just make peace. Make peace so you can get the hell out of there and go somewhere and make and prosper for your family. That would be my message. And all these people in America, yeah, we got to get rid of Israel. You stupid. You sound dumb. You're not getting rid of Israel. In 10 years, you'll be saying something totally different. What you should be doing, you want to help Gaza, you want to help Palestine, tell them to stop voting for Hamas as their government. Tell them to go to the UN, tell them, hey, we want peace, we don't want no more drama. Please help us create a pathway for us to be normalized on the world stage so we can have prosperity. Trump, them, they talking about building some hotels and shit over there. Hey, man, can I get a job? Can I invest? These people, this is what I don't get. These people been fighting for 2,000 years and y'all think y'all about to stop this shit. You're not. You're not. What is Israel going to do? Oh, my God, they're closing in on us. Dude, they have nukes. They could just drop a nuke. Once a country drops a nuke, they're here to stay, buddy. Once a country has a nuke, they're here to stay. Why do you think Trump doesn't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon so bad. Because he knows once they get a nuke, they're like North Korea. It doesn't matter what they do. There's nothing you can do. Their ability to destroy and kill, it becomes too great. And you kind of just have to let them do whatever they're doing. You got to just let them, all right, y'all got it. Yeah. You're right. Why you talking about something that ain't got nothing to do with you? Because people in the comments bringing up Israel and shit. That's why. I went on a tangent. That's my bad. That's my problem, right? I think it's not the people of Israel, it's the government of Israel. Our present government is a problem for the people of America. I don't think so. I think 77 million people voted for our present government. I think you don't like who's running the government, therefore you are projecting what you feel onto the rest of America. I don't have a problem with our government. I think our government's great right now. That's where I think we get it wrong. If you believe in democracy, you support who's in power. You support whoever was democratically elected. See? You support whoever was democratically elected. I had to support Joe Biden when he got elected. But see, y'all only believe in democracy when the person is elected who you like. That's the problem. That means you don't really, these people really don't believe in democracy. They believe in winning. That's what they believe in. I want my side to win or it's up. Chill the fuck out. In 4 years, your side will get a chance. And trust me, when enough 4 years pass, you're going to be dead. Oh, hell no. The conflict won't end in our lifetime. Exactly. You got a bunch of broke-ass Americans talk about free Palestine. Free your pockets up. That's about free your pockets up, bruh. What about and what else? What's up, my boy? Nah, that's not why. America's the greatest country on earth. And you probably ain't ever even been out the country. And I got countries that I love. And I'll tell you, America's the greatest country on earth. Now, I want to move to another country and live there and retire there. But I will still be saying America's the greatest country on earth. Because it is. Dude, you just watched the World Cup. What are these people telling you? Bro, I don't want to live anywhere where ice cream cake is something special. I don't want to live anywhere where having a supersized drink is something special. Come on, bro. This British dude went to Cheesecake Factory and was blown away. Wherever, any country where Cheesecake Factory is impressive, I don't want to live there. I don't want to live there. Yeah, you can criticize people all day. I think that Trump is one of the most criticized presidents, and I think he's handled it well. And I think the people who support Trump have handled it well. They handled it way better than those black people in LA attacking Jake Lang. That's for damn sure. Democracy is two wolves and one sheep deciding who's for that. Shut up. Robert Woolley, stop with the, Rob, I like you a lot. I'm not going to go in on you. Stop with the cliches. Democracy is just like vote for who you like. And that's why we got to we got to protect the democracy, bro. You can't just be ready to throw away your country because something's happening that you don't like. Because believe me, there are people who get a left arm to be up in this country. Trust me. Most of them are Nigerian. No, I'm just kidding. But nah, for real. I'm going to be appreciative. I saw some crazy stuff on the internet today that made me... I saw some stuff on the internet today that just made me reevaluate my whole life, bruh. Like, I don't know if y'all saw it. What y'all think? If I say I saw something on the internet that made me reevaluate my whole life, what y'all think I'm talking about? I'll give y'all one hint. It's sports related. Yeah, he could be my president. Biden was my president too. If Kamala Harris gets elected, she'll be my president too. Hopefully she doesn't get elected. Nah, I didn't see what happened in South Africa. What happened in South Africa? Liberty is a well-armed lamb. That's what I'm talking about. The thing I'm talking about, no, hell no. He should be traded. They should have traded Ja Morant to the Lakers. If the Lakers would have got Ja Morant, that's championship. Damn. What's up, bro? In the building. What up, cuzzo? Hey, man, more power to him, man. I remember when I was in South Africa, they did have a big issue with the Nigerians and the people from Zimbabwe taking their jobs, man. A man got to be able to work and feed his family in his own country. I ain't going to lie. Let me tell you this. What I saw today was the stuff with Chris Henry. I mean, not Chris Henry, with Chris Johnson. Did y'all hear about that with Chris Johnson? He got diagnosed with ALS. Bro was 39 years old, totally healthy, running errands with his kids, just, living a happy life. After his NFL retirement in 2017, they diagnosed bro with ALS. A year later, bro all messed up, can't move, talking with a machine, can't talk. He used a machine to look at it with his eyes and it type out for him, and he could. Sad. I'm not even gonna put it up here. It's too sad, bro. It's too sad, bro. Just random. I didn't even really know what ALS was, bro. And it was like, God dang, to be healthy, 39-year-old man, basically in the prime of his life, 39 years old. So bro retired at the age of, he's 40. He retired in 2017. 9 years. So bro retired at like 33 years old. Well, 32 years old. Right? Wait. 30. Shit. What is 40? Oh, no. 31 years old. My math was horrible. 31 years old. Imagine to be able to. Yeah, I know. Robert Lee. I know who you are. Robert Lee Williamson. But I've been seeing what you've been saying for the past few weeks. You are completely correct, but you are biased. I mean, I guess. I mean, I'm correct. I ain't biased. I'm just speaking those facts. But yeah, bro, man, listen. Could you imagine being able to be in a financial position to retire at 31 years old, be with your kids, be with your family? You got money. I think bro took care of his finances, right? And then just out of nowhere, just get hit with something. Boom. And it was so sad because it's just a year from his diagnosis. And he was like, at first they were like, we could give you medicine that could extend your life by a few months. And then they was like, just start getting your affairs in order. You're gonna die. You ain't gonna make it. I said, God damn. I can't show that on here. Y'all got to go watch that yourself. That shit was so sad. That made me just start thinking about, like, guys, this shit, life could be taken from you in an instant, man. That's kind of why, like, America works, because it makes people think that anything is possible. That's why socialism doesn't work. It tells people only thing that's possible is what the government feels should be possible for you, and then you die. Right? I would rather be an American. I would rather be a capitalist. I would rather live in a society where people walk around thinking anything is possible. Because I've been to the third world. I see what it looks like when people have no hope. I see what that looks like, and I don't want to live in that type of society. I seen what it looks like when people have no opportunity. But the shit with, man, the stuff with Chris Johnson is so sad. Guys, we're not going to get to the Kirk Franklin tonight because I need to go do some things. But tomorrow, I'm going to make a pre-record video about it. Wake up early and catch that video. Thank y'all so much for watching this. I appreciate every single thing you do for me in this channel. Till the next time, please take care of yourselves. Keep an open mind. But most importantly, please take care of each other.